At how you can link your Google Analytics and Google AdWords to get rid of a lot of that junk in your marketing list, which we defined as people spending as less than 60 seconds on your site and only viewing one web page. But of course, that's only the Google Ad Network. So what about the other types of retargeting, such as social, as in Facebook and LinkedIn? It's a little bit of a different process, and we're a little more limited in the factors we looked at in that last video. But the good news is with using Google Tag Manager, you do have some flexibility to do that. So I'm going to walk through how you can get a close recreation of what we looked at last week, and then walk through a couple things that you'll want to consider before you go ahead and do this. So here I've just gone into my LinkedIn campaign manager, and I'm going to create an audience for retargeting. So let's say my site. I'm going to save my settings, and then it's going to give me this insight pixel. We're going to hop over to Google Tag Manager, where I've created a tag called LinkedIn Pixel. And we're just going to copy and paste it right in there. And then in Google Tag Manager, once you insert your tag, there's something called triggers. It's basically in what actions should Google Tag Manager fire this script. The difference between what we're doing here and what we were doing in Google Analytics is we're actually changing the data that is sent to LinkedIn or Facebook here. In the example last week, we were looking at a subset of all the data. So let's go to triggers. And I've set up two that I believe are the closest we can get to recreating that. One is the timer. And here we have the interval set to milliseconds. So this is going to fire the trigger after 60 seconds. And we've set the limit to fire once on any page that contains my domain. So now LinkedIn will basically only be able to record a visit on your website after 60 seconds with this trigger. And because we don't have quite the same flexibility of saying 60 seconds on your website, that was 60 seconds on any specific page. I've also added one here that says clicked any link. So basically that means they've not only landed on your website, they've interacted with it, and they've actually been able to go to multiple pages. So I think that's a pretty good indicator of interest. So once we've gotten that far, the real power of the LinkedIn matched audiences, and it's something that I recently wrote an article about, is being able to take that audience. So not only do we have an audience of our web traffic that is filtered down to get rid of a lot of the low interest and what I typically call as low qualified traffic, we're able to go in here and then add any of LinkedIn's data and basically the information they collect on their members to this. So if we want to say people that spent either 60 seconds on our website or actually clicked a link on our website that have over 500 employees, we go like that. And let's say I only want people in marketing, and I want to make sure that these people have been in the workforce a little bit. So I'm going to set the years of experience to 5+. So just like that, we've created an audience where we're not even only looking at all of our web traffic, we're filtering out the junk. We're looking at organizations with just over 500 employees, people only in marketing with over 5 years experience. It's like that, we can save it, put the ads right in market, and we're done. So I think this is a great look at how we can clean up some of those remarketing lists to save you a lot of money and getting rid of that disqualified traffic, and also use some of the power that LinkedIn has on their members, that this new audience expansion for matched audiences is really a huge boon for marketers, right? So the two things I promise that you do want to consider before you go ahead and do this. Again, when we're looking at the Google example, we were creating a subset of all of the data. Now we're actually changing the data as available. So if you go ahead and do this, you're not going to have the data for it within LinkedIn, that is, for anybody that spent less than 60 seconds on a page or didn't click a link. So for most people, this would not be a problem, but just want to go ahead and throw that out. And the other consideration is when you're using LinkedIn's conversion tracking, and let's just go and take a look at that right here. How it works is they're basically relying on the information, the insight tag, and what you're doing is going in and saying, out of all that information, when somebody clicks on one of these links, so let's say that we have a thank you page right down here. It's kind of hidden behind the screen recorder bubble. But when somebody visits that page, LinkedIn is recording the conversion that you have selected here. So whether it's a purchase, a download, a key web page visit, whatever. So under that initial setup, you're not going to get consistent data here because, for example, if somebody spends 45 seconds on this success page and clicks on your PDF and exits out, you're not going to record that conversion. So what I would recommend you do is you set up a second tag for just your success pages, whatever those may be. If you're e-commerce, that would be your checkout page. If you're a B2B and you're probably doing content marketing, that would just be your success page. I would recommend that you set up a second tag that fires on each page visit for the URLs you specify. And if you have any questions on how to set that up, don't hesitate to reach out.